Jasmine thought her latest luxury hotel vlog in Columbus was a massive success. The views were skyrocketing and the engagement was unprecedented. But while reviewing the raw footage late at night, she noticed something impossible in the background mirror. A stranger was adjusting her laptop while she was filming. When she checked her cloud storage, an unknown device login alert appeared, timestamped to the exact second of the recording. Her follower count continued to spike, but the comments were no longer normal. Every single message was an identical, cryptic warning. The curated digital life she'd built was fracturing, and the audience was watching something she could not see. The nightmare was just beginning.
The glow of the monitor cast long shadows across the dark Columbus apartment, contrasting sharply with the bright, sunlit luxury of the hotel suite on the screen. Jasmine paused the video playback, her finger hovering over the trackpad. On the screen, the luxury hotel suite looked perfect, a curated masterpiece of lifestyle content. But in the background mirror, a shadow moved. She rewound the clip and zoomed in. A man in a dark jacket was standing right behind her, adjusting the angle of her laptop. The timestamp read late evening, the exact moment she was recording. The hum of the refrigerator seemed deafening in the sudden silence of the room. "Sean, look at the mirror," Jasmine whispered, her voice trembling in the quiet room. Sean leaned over her shoulder, squinting at the frozen frame. He pulled up the network traffic on his own tablet. "That is not a guest," he muttered, his eyes scanning the data streams. "Someone is broadcasting the feed." Jasmine opened her cloud storage. A bright red notification banner dominated the screen. An unknown device login alert flashed, timestamped to the exact second the stranger touched the laptop. The blinking red recording light on her webcam suddenly flared to life, casting a harsh crimson glow over her desk and illuminating the dust motes in the air. She stared at it, realizing the device was not just connected, it was actively mirroring her exact movements to a secondary account. A cold knot formed in her stomach as the realization set in. Her follower count on the platform spiked, the numbers rolling upward in a blur of green digits. She refreshed the comment section, expecting praise for the high production value and the aesthetic lighting. Instead, the screen filled with identical messages. Hundreds of comments, all posted within the same minute, contained the exact same cryptic warning about the man in the mirror. "If they are watching me, why are they letting me post this?" Jasmine asked, pulling her hands away from the keyboard. Sean tapped the router, his jaw tightening as the network logs flooded with unauthorized access attempts. "They are not just copying the account," he replied grimly. "They are editing the life." The polished illusion of her digital existence shattered in the cold light of the monitor. The audience was no longer watching a vlog. They were watching a live hijacking, and Jasmine had no idea who held the controls. Every click of the mouse felt like a step deeper into a trap she had built for herself.
The early morning sun crept through the blinds of the Columbus apartment, casting pale stripes across the floor. But the chill in the room had nothing to do with the temperature. Jasmine's fingers flew across her laptop keyboard, frantically resetting every password she could think of. Her breathing was shallow, the silence of the room broken only by the aggressive clacking of keys. She locked her phone, disabled the Bluetooth, and unplugged the router. The physical devices around them felt like dormant spies, waiting for a single command to wake up and broadcast her fear to the world. "There," she gasped, dropping the device onto the desk. "That cuts the feed." But the notification chime echoed from her tablet, then her smartwatch, then the television mounted on the wall. Jasmine froze. On the tablet screen, the Mirror account had just uploaded a new video. The thumbnail was a live feed of her current panic, shot from the exact angle of her laptop webcam. The view count was already climbing into the thousands. The comments scrolled by in a blur of cheerful emojis. She could feel the eyes of thousands of strangers pressing against the walls of the apartment. "The production value is insane," one comment read. "The acting is so real." "Sean, it is filming me right now," Jasmine stammered, backing away from the lens, her hands trembling as she covered her face. Sean was already on his knees by the wall, prying the plastic cover off the central smart home hub. He traced the wiring, his jaw tightening as he pulled a tiny, unauthorized microtransmitter from the Ethernet port. "The camera feed is being split at the hardware level," Sean said, tossing the bug onto the carpet. "They are not just copying the life, they are editing the reality." Jasmine stared at the screen. The Mirror account's latest upload was perfectly timed to the exact moment she had dropped her phone. The audio was crystal clear, capturing her ragged breathing and Sean's muffled voice. The stalker had real-time access to everything. Her terror was no longer a private nightmare, it was premium content. "If my audience thinks this is a game, how do I prove I am actually in danger?" she whispered, the realization settling over her like a suffocating blanket. Sean looked up, his expression grim. "The only way is to play along." Jasmine looked back at the monitor. The follower count was skyrocketing. She was no longer just a victim, she was a trapped performer, and the audience was waiting for the next scene. The digital cage was locked, and the key had been thrown away.
The Columbus apartment felt like a sealed vacuum, the air thick with stale heat. Jasmine and Sean sat on the floor, surrounded by disconnected smart devices. The unplugged speakers sat like blind eyes, the dark television reflecting their distorted silhouettes. "Do not make a sound," Sean whispered, his eyes locked on the tablet propped against the sofa cushions. "We need to test the audio feed." Jasmine nodded, her heart hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. They stayed completely silent, moving their hands in erratic patterns to confuse any visual tracking algorithms still running on local caches. For 10 agonizing minutes, the only sound in the room was the muffled, rhythmic hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. Every creak of the floorboards sounded like a footstep. Every shift of the wind felt like an intrusion. Then, the tablet chimed. The bright, cheerful notification sound echoed through the silent apartment like a gunshot. The Mirror account had just uploaded a new video. Jasmine leaned in, her breath catching in her throat. On the screen, the mirrored version of herself was thrashing in the dark, letting out a blood-curdling, guttural scream. The audio was crystal clear, capturing the exact pitch and cadence of her voice in absolute terror. The digital Jasmine clawed at her own face, weeping hysterically. But in the physical room, Jasmine's lips were sealed tight, her hands resting flat on the cold floor. "The audio is faked," Sean murmured, his face pale in the harsh blue glow of the screen. "They are synthesizing the original voice from the old vlogs, stitching it together." Jasmine stared at the screen, a cold sweat breaking across her neck and soaking her collar. Before she could process the impossibility of the fake scream, a new notification slid into her email inbox on the secondary device. It was from her primary brand sponsor, the luxury skincare line funding her operation. She opened it with trembling fingers. The subject line read, "Brilliant horror campaign. Budget approved." The email praised the immersive psychological horror stunt, calling it a masterpiece of modern influencer marketing. The budget for the next quarter was doubled, pushing the contract value past $45,000 USD. But it was the attachment that made her stomach drop into a bottomless void. It was an audio file, timestamped from exactly 3 minutes ago. Jasmine clicked play. It was the sound of her bone, silent, ragged breathing, captured while she was supposedly offline and disconnected. "They think I am acting," Jasmine whispered, the realization hollowing her out and leaving a cold, empty space in her chest. Sean looked at the email, then at the dark, lifeless router sitting on the desk. The stalker is not just watching. They are intercepting private communications to build the narrative. They are feeding the sponsor the exact content they want to see. Jasmine pulled her knees to her chest, wrapping her arms around her legs to hold herself together. The audience was cheering for her nightmare. Her terror was no longer a cry for help. It was a highly profitable, fully funded production. She was entirely alone in a digital reality she could no longer control, trapped inside a script written by a ghost. The Columbus apartment was dead silent, stripped of its digital pulse, reduced to a hollow shell of drywall and glass. Jasmine moved through the dim rooms, yanking power cords from the smart speakers, the television, and the thermostat. She unplugged the microwave and pulled the battery from the wall clock. The harsh, unfiltered light of early dawn crept through the blinds, casting long shadows across the floor, illuminating dust motes in the dead air. She felt exposed to the physical world, yet invisible to the digital one. Sean sat on the edge of the sofa, holding a cheap plastic burner phone and a portable mobile hotspot. He had driven across town to buy them from a cash-only store. "Network is isolated," he said, his voice low and steady. "Just a direct cellular link. No local Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth handshakes. Jasmine took the burner phone. Her hands shook as she dialed the direct line for Marcus, her primary brand sponsor's campaign manager. The small screen glowed with a harsh glare, highlighting the dark circles under her eyes and the pale sheen of sweat on her forehead. The call connected after 3 rings. Marcus's face appeared on the small screen, sipping coffee in a brightly lit, pristine office with a view of the city skyline. He looked relaxed, entirely detached from the suffocating reality of the apartment. "Marcus, listen to me," Jasmine said, pressing the phone closer to her face. "Look at my eyes. This is real. Someone is in the system. They are faking the audio and manipulating the feed." Marcus sighed, setting his ceramic mug down with a practiced, dismissive clink. "Jasmine, the engagement metrics are through the roof. The mirror account is a genius touch. The demographic data is off the charts. But the narrative must stay intact. Don't ruin the arc." "I am not acting," she shouted, the raw panic tearing at her throat. "Check the raw files. Check the network logs. I am being held hostage by my own account." "We only look at the final cut, Jazz," Marcus replied, his tone chillingly corporate. "The audience loves the psychological breakdown. It feels authentic. If the immersion breaks now, the Q2 funding will be pulled and the campaign reassigned. Keep the camera rolling." The screen went black. He had hung up. Jasmine stared at her own dark reflection in the burner phone's glass screen. The silence that followed was absolute. Sean gently took the device from her trembling hand, setting it on the cushion beside him. "They are funding my captivity because it makes good television," she whispered, the horrifying realization settling deep in her bones. The sponsor wasn't just ignoring her pleas, they were actively watching the mirror account's polished synthetic feed. The stalker hadn't just hijacked her digital life, they had convinced the people who've owned her career that the hijacking was the product. The burner phone suddenly buzzed in Sean's hand, vibrating against the fabric of the sofa. A new text message lit up the screen from an unknown number. It was a single image, a live screenshot of Jasmine holding the phone, taken from the front camera of the burner itself. The caption read, "Scene 4 complete. Ready for the climax." She looked up at Sean, the isolating silence of the room suddenly feeling like a physical cage. The performance was no longer optional, and the final act was about to begin.
The harsh morning light filtered through the blinds of the Columbus apartment, stripping away the digital shadows that had choked the room for hours. Jasmine sat on the floor, the cheap plastic burner phone feeling like a lifeline in her trembling hand. Sean knelt beside her, his presence a quiet, grounding anchor in the suffocating silence. He gave her a single reassuring nod, his eyes reflecting the pale dawn. She dialed the official creator support line, her thumb hovering over the speaker button. The ringing tone echoed in the empty room, a stark contrast to the chaotic noise of the synthetic feed. Finally, a crisp, professional voice answered. "Creator support, this is David. How may I assist?" Jasmine gripped the phone tighter, forcing her voice to remain steady. "I am Jasmine. Suspend the mirror account." There was a brief pause, the sound of rapid keyboard typing filtering through the receiver. "I see the secondary feed, Miss Vance. It is currently flagged for a terms of service review. Please confirm if an immediate takedown is requested." "It is a fabricated violation," Jasmine said, her gaze locking with Sean's. "They are synthesizing my audio and hijacking my feed. Identity verified. It is done," the agent confirmed. "The mirror account has been permanently suspended. All associated streams are terminated." Jasmine exhaled, a long, shuddering breath that seemed to carry the weight of the past 48 hours. Her shoulders dropped. The invisible cage around her had finally shattered. "I appreciate it," she whispered, ending the call. Sean reached out, gently taking the burner phone from her hand. "Now for the real finale," he said softly. Jasmine picked up the device's built-in camera. She didn't set up a ring light. She didn't check her angles or adjust the aesthetic lighting. She just hit record. The lens showed her raw, unfiltered face, pale and exhausted, but undeniably real. "They wanted a performance," Jasmine said to the camera, her voice clear and resolute. "But I am giving the audience the truth." She explained the hijacking, the synthetic audio, and the corporate complicity that had turned her terror into premium content. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She simply reclaimed her narrative. When she finally stopped the recording, the apartment felt different. The oppressive weight of the audience's gaze was gone. Her feed was finally her own again. Jasmine set the burner phone on the kitchen counter,
right next to the cold, half-empty mug of coffee she had abandoned the night before. The ceramic felt solid and ordinary beneath her fingertips. She walked over to the window and pulled the blinds up, letting the bright Columbus morning flood the living room. The dust motes danced in the sunlight, no longer illuminated by the harsh crimson glow of a hijacked webcam. She took a deep breath, filling her lungs with the quiet air of her own home, and finally smiled.